Let's get into Nick Cannon and Deshaun Dumbass Jackson. What's up with these brothers?
It's two separate things.
All right, so who you want to attack? Let's go with Deshaun Jackson first. I think he's the least. Which one do you?
Least is Deshaun Jackson, bro.
Okay,
that's typical social media shit. What he did.
Would you repost a Hitler quote? Okay, for people who don't know what's going on, Deshaun Jackson, wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles, apparently he received a screenshot from a fan, reposted it. The screenshot quoted Hitler, and it was very anti-Semitic. Mm-hmm. Very anti-Semitic. Do you have what it said?
Nah, not what.
Okay, regardless, it quoted Hitler, and the funny thing is, the dumb thing is, it wasn't even a real Hitler quote, right? And there's a few things to get there. Number one, it wasn't a real Hitler quote. Please, no one ever quote Hitler. Can we agree on that?
Wild boy.
Never quote Hitler, especially if you're agreeing with what the fuck he said.
Yeah.
Right? No one is gonna understand that. So he posted that, and he apologized. He went on the entire apology tour. But Deshaun Jackson, that's just a stupid fucking move.
That's just some. I see something, I'm just gonna repost it, and I hate. I'm up here. It's like
what did Rory say? Free thinker. I am a free. He really thought he was a free thinker.
It's like, yo, bro, I'm free. Yo,
I broke the shackles that the white man put on me.
That's Dr. Umar Johnson Jr. right there. Where'd you get your degree from?
Dr. Umar Jackson.
Like,
Dr. Umar.
They say he homeless. That's just funny.
Who, Dr. Umar Johnson?
Yeah, there's a video of him coming, like, he's on the ground. He's making a video.
Yeah, bro. Am I racist to myself because I hate all of these, like, super duper woke motherfuckers?
Nah, because it's a business. It could be
some of these niggas need to go to sleep. Like, a lot of these niggas is tired. Yeah. These niggas been woke for 30 years. Like, just take a nap, brother.
Yeah, bro.
You probably wake up with a new type of energy.
Yeah,
but I think Nick Cannon is a more inflammatory one.
Hell yeah.
So Nick Cannon on his podcast with Professor Griff,
so.
Who was kicked off of Public Enemy for making anti-Semitic comments way back in the day. They were talking, and give me a quick sample of what Nick said.
So Nick said, people without melanin is the true savages. They build up this conquering barbaric mentality, also believing in order for us to survive, we must take what is not ours. Because the sun gives life. The sun gives food, shelter, everything you need, if you really think about it, you know. Mm-hmm. And when you don't have the sun, you have to steal to get what's yours.
Now, people, listen, I'm Nick Johnson. I don't have shit going on for me. Whatever I say doesn't fucking matter. Like Kodak said, why even give my opinion a voice? It doesn't matter. Don't give it whatever I say doesn't matter.
All right.
This is something I've been saying for a long time. I think white people, this is just a podcast, so I'm just kicking this shit, are slight. Okay, first of all, I'll preface it like this. We agree that black people are more athletic than white people. Correct? Is that a natural thing that everyone agrees with?
Yes.
That is unrefutable.
Yes.
We have different reasons why we think that is, but regardless, it's widely understood black people are more athletic. Let's look at sports. NBA sports, NFL sports, dominated by black men, but mostly coached by white men. Why? I think white people are just, if we have athleticism over them, they probably have being tactical over us, like just minute things. And this goes back to the 500s, right? When Africa was the biggest army and Africans were enslaving white people before they ever thought of enslaving us. And somehow they tactically became the bigger and stronger army and eventually took us over. Right? Why? As you said, living in that cold, just brutal weather condition, you probably have to think a little bit more. And through evolution, through natural selection, the people who were probably a little bit smarter probably were the ones that survived and was the ones that reproduced. With that being said, I understand that. But I'm actually reading a book by what's his name? What's the guy's name?
Charles Darwin.
Charles Darwin, and he's talking about natural selection. Sure, black people and white people, based on the continent we live on, based on our situation, based on the circumstance, we do develop different traits. So what Nick Cannon said was a fact, kinda. White people living back in those barbaric stages, Vikings, they were savages. At the end of the day, we're all the same species. And when we are under the same circumstance, we're going to mirror each other. We're the same thing. And I think what he was trying to get to is that white people are inherently more barbaric and inherently more evil because of what their ancestors go through, which is not okay to say. Why? Because it's the same thing Hitler. It's the same thing a lot of racist white people believed about black people. They're inherently less. They're inherently animalistic. They're inherently dumb. That's not true. We could just look at our society today and know that's not true.
Yeah, not at all.
If you want to consider the president the smartest man in the world, a black man was the president, right? Or you go to Howard, I'm sure there's black... Like, we know, I don't have to explain this. Black people are as smart as white people.
Yes.
So I think that's where Nick Cannon went wrong.
Yeah.
He was coming at it from a very like, hey... If you're white, you have no choice in the matter. You're a bad person. You're crazy. You're a fucking conqueror. No, Nick. No, you can't say that. But you don't agree with me. Come on, give it to me.
Come on. What I'm saying is, I just understand. Like you said, we understand where Nick Cannon is coming from because he's on a higher frequency of knowledge. He's a free thinker. He's a free thinker, you could say. All the books, this guy, funny. But all the books he's read, all the knowledge he observes, he's on a higher frequency level of black history and black empowerment, etc., than the masses.
Allegedly.
Because of primary school. Now, we think about primary school, as soon as we get to blacks, it's slavery, the slave trade. And then you get to Harriet Tubman, then you get to Frederick Douglass, then you get to civil rights, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, Dr. Martin Luther King, and then
all the poor people.
The next thing you know, we got Barack Obama. That's probably the next thing. No, for real. And then between that, what do you know? Oh, the crack era, Ronald Reagan, crack era, and then 9/11, and then this is probably gonna be Barack Obama now in the books right now because it's 08. And when you are soaking up all this type of knowledge, like I said, anything you soak in, it comes back out, and this is why he is saying that because he's on a high
what you just said
knowledge.
has nothing to do with Nick Cannon said.
What do you mean?
Nick Cannon said that white people are inherently more savage because of their ancestors' circumstances.
But that's just that level. The level of knowledge he's soaking in. You understand what I'm saying? Like the books. Do you see that type of podcast? What it is? You see him with the headband and everything. We know what type of vibe he's on. You understand what I'm saying, Nick? That's what he's reading. That's the information he's soaking in, and that's how he feels. You know, because look, it's all foreign to us of black history, Nick. People don't know black older people like our parents, etc., and stuff like that. Those people that are around that age. They didn't know about Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street until now.
Mon Bayou?
Yeah, they don't know about that. You understand what I'm saying? So all this history that's coming out now because of social media, you soak it in and then you're like, oh shit. So I'm gonna say this because all the history I know and him to say he's not anti-Semitic because he is Semitic has a reason to say that because he's in Africa.
Okay, too. So that's a crazy technicality. So what Nick did was, I guess he was pressed about being anti-Semitic, and his response to it was, "I'm not anti-Semitic. I don't hate Semitic people because black people are Semitic." Okay, let's say black people are Semitic. What people are trying to say is that you're being disrespectful to those motherfuckers over there, the Jews. The people who Hitler referred to as Semitic. That's where that term comes from. So first of all, that's a dumb excuse. You are being anti-Semitic based on how we use the word. Don't try to verbally gymnastic your way out of this argument. And let's talk about anti-Semitism. And we're actually, I want to actually lead this into the Redskin conversation. We realize Black Lives Matter movement eventually led its way into the Redskins having to change their name. Why? I think Chris Rock said this, or Dave Chappelle said this in a stand-up. A win for me is a win for you. So I am going to be walking right behind you, even if I don't agree. Like, say you're a diehard Christian, you should still fight for gay rights. Why? Because if they take that motherfucker rights away, they're probably going to take your rights away to practice Christianity. So we all have to come together. The Black Lives Matter was a perfect example of that. We're protesting blackness, but somehow it led down to Native American stuff. The issue with Deshaun Jackson and Nick Cannon is, okay, we understand pro-black, you want to be pro-black. I don't think pro-black should ever have to do with putting down white people, any religious group. Why? A win for one is a win for all, right? You don't have to put down another group for you to get shine.
Yeah.
Right? And what he said was very disrespectful to
no, you're
Jewish
right.
people.
You're right. You wouldn't even think that. That's something, like I said, Dr. Umar Johnson said it, and for that to come out of Nick Cannon's mouth, it's like, yo, you're really wilding, bro, because you're on a bigger platform. You're on a masses platform. Dr. Umar Johnson has one target market.
Right.
Nick Cannon has a bigger target
So
market.
black people always accuse white people of being clueless. Y'all don't know what's going on in the community. Yet y'all talk about it, and y'all don't understand the shit that y'all say is offensive. Correct. We have to understand when we're doing that also. We can't only be the victims. We have to understand when we are the people that are wrong and the people that are insensitive. I actually learned this week. This was a normal thing to say, hey man, the Jewish people run all the banks. The Jewish people got all the money. Do you know why that's offensive? That's one of the big reasons that Hitler mass murdered all the Jews in Germany. Because they were the capitalists, they had a lot of wealth, and Germany was very poor at the time. The country was doing horrible because they lost World War I. And Hitler was like, wait, these motherfuckers run the banks. These motherfuckers run money. Hey, we gonna kill them. When you say, hey, the Jewish people run the bank, you may think it's harmless. But a Jewish kid who grew up understanding the history of his people, understanding why his people was murdered, that is very triggering to him. And I think we should care about that Jewish kid's feelings. Just like if a white person was to come and say something racially insensitive, black people would be up in arms. We're talking about all these Karens. We need to talk about the fucking cannons. Nah, for real though. True. The people are just racially insensitive.
Yeah.
So
that doesn't make a better world at the end of the day.
It doesn't.
You're right. What win for you should be a win for me.
Exactly. Trying to talk shit about someone and putting another race down is never going to uplift your race. And that's a lesson for life.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Man.
I think I seen Quez post this on his Instagram. I think you're watching the video too. He's like, I would never compete with one of my mans. Never compete with one of my friends. But listen, we're all one human race. We're all friends. We're all in this together. We're going to realize when the aliens come that we really all one.
Yeah.
And we should never be in competition with each other.
And that's what a lot of people say when 9/11 happened, we all came as one. No, you're right, though. It is a form of racism, what Nick Cannon basically said.
1,000% racism.
He said, we understand, or I understand. I don't accept it. Him saying that, stating that.
At first you did.
I just say I understand it.
You understand where he's coming from.
I understand where he's coming from. Because you got to understand, this man is like, when you deal with 400 years of oppression, you have to understand. If you understand your when you do 400 years of oppression, more years than that, right? And you're not taught about like your race being powerful and everything, and then you start getting the knowledge of it, and you're in that setting of I could actually open up and share my knowledge. Sadly, you say things like that. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I think that's why I understand where he's coming from, because you're never taught the powerfulness of your heritage of being black. It's always oppression fighting something instead of already feeling like you're the victory. I actually
1,000% understand where you're coming from now.
Yeah,
the truth is hidden from you so much that when you get a little insight of it, you get open-eyed, like, whoa. We're actually the motherfuckers.
Yes.
But then after, as a grown man, you gotta you gotta. We actually is all equal.
Yeah, you really gotta.
I was because Nick You know what? I'm gonna cut Nick some slack here. Nick actually spoke about on Vlad growing up. He always thought he was inferior to white people. He said, "When I grew up, if you seen a white family walking across the street, cross the fucking street.
Exactly.
Don't look them in their eye because they're white and you're black." Great point, Malcolm.
Yeah,
Great point.
That's what I'm saying.
Growing up with that level of inferiority, you get a taste of it. You're like, nigga, I'm that nigga.
Yeah, like,
it's just like when you were a kid and you turn 13, 14, 15, whatever age it is. You look like you're premature, so you probably age a little slow. Nah, but for real though, when you get your first little muscles and things, like, I think I could fuck my dad up.
Nah, some people really be thinking that though.
Hell
That's
yeah,
a fact.
like nigga, I'm still waiting to put the pause on my
Yeah. Some people really think like that. Once you get it, you like, oh, it ain't.
But then you realize, like, nigga, my dad would whoop the shit out of me. You realize that when you grow a little bit older.
Yeah.
So maybe Nick Cannon is just early on his journey.
Yeah, that's really it.
He's on the part of the journey where things are just hyper sensitive. Like, oh shit, I think nigga, we them niggas. But long story short,
you can't have that type of segregation. though. It has to be all as a one unit.
We all got to be one. And I heard a lot of people saying that the Jewish people are very racist. So I was talking to my stepdad, who was honestly like my information assistant. Mm-hmm. If I ever want to learn about something, shout out to you, Andy. He's just gonna give up all the. He's a very smart dude, very knowledgeable on a lot of things. And he was like, "Hey, Nick, I understand why some black people feel like that because the Jewish people are very hateful. They were a big part in racism. They were a big part in slavery. They were a big part in oppressing black people. The thing is, today, if you could find a video of a Jewish people just putting down black people, if you can't find that conversation is null and void.
You said if you can't find it?
If you can't find that. And I'm sure there is a Jewish person out there saying fucked up shit about black people. They're going to be canceled. Just like Nick Cannon. Let Rosenberg or one of them Jewish dudes come out and say something crazy about it. Nigga, you're out of here.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So keep that same energy, black people. If we agree that anyone spewing hateful rhetoric towards black people is going to be canceled, we're going to get it right back. And understand that.
That's true. That is true though.
Now
there ain't nothing really to it. It's like,
yes.
bro, that it is a. You said, bro, a form of racism.
Now the most important thing the most important question I'm left with this entire thing is Wilder not over?
Ooh.
Cause I think Viacom was the channel that it was ran through.
I mean, me personally, I don't feel like it really.
I think
that's my opinion, but I feel like it didn't truly hurt people like as much as they think to cancel Wildin' Out.
Well, he got kicked off of the network already, and that network owns Wildin' Out. Yeah. I guess Nick Cannon might own a percentage of it, but the network also owns a percentage of it. The network can't put it on without him. He can't put it on with the network. If one of them wants to fold and sell it to the other, I think it would be more profitable for both parties if Viacom was to sell it to Nick, because you can't put another host on there.
Motherfuckers just gotta be like 50 Cent, bro.
What you mean? Get shot 9 times?
Nah, not get shot 9 times, but be for the masses. 50 for the masses. He's just a smart dude. Masses. That's all that matters.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Anything he does in the masses, like when he signed with Eminem, his big thing was white dude that never switched, that never went to rock and roll, and white people love him. Why not sign with him? You understand what I'm saying?
I think I did see a video with him saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, power. You have a black star artist, a white star artist. 50 Cent smart. He's for the masses, bro. Mm-hmm. It's not one side or the other. That's why I'm saying that you should think like 50 for the masses.
Well, 50 is not woke. 50 doesn't give a fuck about black issues, so. But I understand what you're saying.
He does.
What do you think about this theory? Nick Cannon has been viewed, I would say until recently, until the relaunch of Wildin' Out, and okay, we all realized, oh damn, Nick Cannon's actually a pretty successful dude. For a while, he was a punchline, and he's always been corny to black people.
Yeah.
His group, the people that he valued most, he's always been corny. And I think he kind of dove into this pro-blackness as a way to gain the respect of black people. A sect of people that never really accepted him, that he probably really wanted acceptance from.
I see what you're saying. So,
yeah.
So you think all those woke people just corny people that.
Hey, bruh. Hey, let's think about it. Dr. Umar Johnson definitely didn't look like niggas fucked with him in the hood. Yeah. He kind of remind me of AR App. You remember AR App?
Yeah, AR. You ballin'.
Who else is a super woke person?
Dr. Rizza Islam.
Let's talk about somebody we know.
Islam.
Somebody we know. T.I. is pretty woke. T.I. is a cool dude. I think it's just Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon is just... Bro, Nick Cannon had the baddest bitch in the game, and niggas are still like, nigga, you corny. Like, usually when you cuff the baddest bitch, your corniness is dissolved. And he still held a corny card for a long time.
That's true, but... Yeah, you right, but like, bro, he's still succeeded. He's still successful.
Oh,
people
extremely
still giving him
successful.
That check.